is up, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our very first season in the T.C.L. As we're super hyped about this. We got a brand new logo, we got a brand new team, and shoutouts to the guy who made this logo. It's so sick, it's so fresh. Oh man, it's such a big upgrade from what we had last time. Check out the French Mudkip, he made this logo. He's got some incredible content, and sub to him if you know what's good. And if you guys want to check out the draft, you can go on Crazy Colin's Twitch. It'll be in the description down below. It's a past broadcast. And I also recommend that you check out the T.C.L. Twitter page and YouTube page if you want to keep up to date with analysis and anything else that is going on in the universe of the T.C.L. But let's just jump right into this and hop on to the next slide. Alright, so the top 6 Pokemon over here, I felt like were the staples of this team. They were really high on my priority list, and I felt like I got a lot of these mons in terms of what I really wanted, what I needed, what roles that they filled. And yeah, so we'll start off with our very first pick over here, which was the Mew. First for us, but 11th pick in the TCL, which is pretty nuts. When it came to me, that was the quickest Mew click I ever clicked in my life. The jack of all trades. It allows this team to be a lot more versatile. It gave me more flexibility on my future picks just because Mew can do everything, such as defogging, will-o-wisping, U-turning, setting up with nasty plots. I do believe it has a baton pass and can learn Heal Bell. And that's incredible because you get so much for one pick, and it allows me to build things in the future, or allow me in the future to draft different mons without having to worry about, do I have this, do I have that? Mew already does that, and that's what I really wanted. So I'm really excited about using this mon. First time ever using it, and I'm super happy that I got this mon. Next up, we picked up the Land of Therion, one of the best two-way players in the game. An offensive presence, a defensive presence. It's got an incredible ability called Intimidate, which means it'll lower the attack by 1 stage. And it's paired up with a decent typing, that being ground and flying. And yeah, plus offensive typing in terms of ground. It learns Stab, Earthquake. It has access to Swords Dance, Rock Polish, and Calm Mind, Sludge Wave, different things like that. This Pokemon's really hard to prepare for, and I'm excited with that. And having that offensive presence on this mon alone, it allows people to switch out and let me get my rocks in for free. They would have to switch out into a check, switch out into a mon that could take an Earthquake, a knockoff, a U-turn, something like that. And I can keep up my offensive with U-turn too. So having that all in one package, I felt like was just something I could not pass up on. Since I was the 11th pick in the TCL, I had the 2nd pick on the wheel. So picking up this thing made way too much sense. Next up, we picked up the Empoleon, adding another defogger to the team. One of the best phasers in my opinion in the UU tier, just because it has Roar, it has some incredible bulk on it, and it has a really decent ability, that being the Define ability, which I can run offensive Empoleon. As you can tell from my draft, it allows me to run defensive Empoleon, and it pairs up so well with the Lando. Lando doesn't appreciate ice attacks or water attacks. Empoleon eats that up. It's just delicious. Can I have some more, please? And Empoleon doesn't appreciate fighting, ground, or the thunder attacks or anything like that, and Lando T just eats that up. So it made way too much sense to me. Those two really pair up really well, and they complement each other so nicely that the synergy is just so on point. So I'm really excited to have another defogger on the team, and just adding the offensive presence between these two, I cannot stress enough that the synergy makes way too much sense. Next up, I knew I wanted this Mega starting from turn 1, and I was trying to figure out how to build a team that can sort of adjust to this mon, and I picked up the Mega Beedrill because I picked up one of its best checks, that being the Lando T. Lando T just bodies Beedrill, and having that on my team and not having to worry about that week throughout week, or without worrying it, one person has that, it's incredible. It's really nice, which means Beedrill can go to town on a lot of things, and people do have to prepare for Beedrill. U-turn's way too real. Poison Jab is too real. And the fact that it's stab and adaptability, there's not a lot of mons that can take that. And in a tier that, or in a meta that's so reliant on fairies, psychic Pokemon, fast psychic Pokemon, hard bulky fairies, and other things like that, having the U-turn and stab poison is really, really nice. It allows this mon to really go to town. It has also drill run and knockoff, but you know, people are saying that Beedrill's not versatile enough. You can run Defog, Iron Defense, and Toxic Spikes on it, and if you're real enough, you can run that, and it could potentially do a lot of work. So I'm really excited to use this mon, and the fact that it does so much for such a small price, I was like, man, I'm picking this mon. The hometown discount, adding an extra 60 points for a more rounded team made so much sense to me, because it allows me to build a more rounded team, a team that makes more sense to me, a team that I can bring in everything at any point of the season, and people have to prepare for each mon. It was just way too nice to pass up. After waiting a while, I finally picked up my last 2/6 Pokemon over here, which were the Florges and Haxorus. Florges makes so much sense in terms of Apollyon and Florges. Apollyon eats up any sludge bombs, any iron heads, anything like that. Florges eats up any thunder attacks and anything else that Apollyon doesn't appreciate. And the cores that I have all around happening over here, it just made way too much sense. Mega Beedrill can't take a hit. It just can't. But having the defensive presence of Mew, Lando, Apollyon, and Florges, it made way too much sense to me in terms of, you know, you want something that can heal up your other mons. Aromatherapy, Wish, what else can it do? It can do a lot. It can just be plain out annoying, and it was one of the best fairies in the UU tier. So for the price that I had to pay for Florges, it made sense to me. Fairies were going out really quick, and when I drafted Florges, I actually picked up another mon that I'm going to talk a bit about later, not in this slide, but later. I felt like I made a huge mistake. But after, when I picked up, I was like, alright, cool. Crisis averted, that's awesome, that's incredible. And then I wanted to pick up something that could break down Pokemon, break down walls, had something like Mole Breaker, which would be nice because I could hit levitators or do something like that. And I'm picking up Haxorus. Haxorus is one of the most offensive Pokemon that you could ask for. With a decent speed of 95, a base attack of, you know, ouchie level, it can do a lot. And having Dragon Dance, that's frightening, and it finishes off my fantasy core, which a lot of people were looking out for. Was, can you build a fantasy core? Can you build a good fantasy core? That was the main question, and I felt like I could build one of the nicest fantasy cores. It's a decent UU fantasy core, or perhaps one of the best ones out there. And having Pokemon that can U-turn out, or having Pokemon that can check Haxorus out of the game is really nice. Beedrill can switch out, Lando T can switch out, Mew can switch out with U-turn or something like that, or Baton Pass. It allows my team to really put on a lot of offensive pressure. It allows the Haxorus to put on that offensive pressure, and I'm super happy how my first 6 picks came out. In terms of synergy, I felt like they synergized so well, they complement each other so well. I built a fast team that I really was looking out for. And then I sort of kept up with that theme. I wanted to build more speed, and that sort of leads off to the next slide. Alright, so the last 5 Pokemon are the mons that really filled in the gaps what I lacked in my first 6 picks. They were mons that I felt like that I could sort of have a bit more flexibility, but they had to fit a certain role. And we'll start off with Jolteon over here, because this was sort of the crisis I was talking about. I had to wait about 20 turns for this mon, and that was a stressful 20 turns, because I knew I wanted to pick up Jolteon, but I couldn't miss out on Haxorus or Florges, so I had to wait for this mon, and it worked out for me because I ended up getting the Jolteon, which adds a Volt switcher to an already powerful U-turning team. It gives me that more options of, do I need stab Volt switch? Can I keep on switching out? Gives me a Volt absorber, which allows like Moltres and Apollyon to really absorb more hits and different hits, hits that they don't normally want to take. And it gives more flexibility in terms of that, adds mind games, and that's what I was really looking for Jolteon. It also already adds more speed to the team, having the base speed of 145, 130, 100, 90, and ways to boost up the speed. So that's what I was really looking for. And then after that, I figured I needed something that could stop setup, something that can just copy everything and copy every stat and keep on doing that, but have an item at the same time. And I ended up picking up Ditto because I picked up Ditto in the RBL, and I've been really enjoying it because people have to prepare for or keep in mind that Ditto could potentially come in the match and really to put in a decent amount of work. So Ditto is an anti-setup counter thanks to its impossibility, which means they can set up a +6 Dragon Dance, and I can bring in Ditto with a Choice Scarf and reverse sweep them, which is really nice because I don't have to really worry about the setups if I bring in Ditto. And Ditto also is a incredible scout. I can scout out other people's moves. I can see what they prepare for, what sort of moves that they have, some sort of shenanigans, guess their stats, and it allows things like Scrafty, Lando, or things like that to really take advantage of what I already know, because knowledge is power, and in this game, if you know more about what they have, then you have a better chance of winning, and Ditto allows me to do that. And then we'll talk a bit about Scrafty over here, leave it to Scrafty. This thing has great abilities, that being the Shed Skin, Intimidate, and Moxie. That's really awesome because you can run Shed Skin, Bulk Up, Dragon Dance, Scrafty, or you can run Moxie Scrafty, or you can run different things like that, or even Intimidate, which pairs it up really well with Lando because I have a double Intimidate core over there, Scrafty and Lando, which means a lot of physical attackers. If teams really rely on their physical attackers, then I can really put that down with the double Intimidate core and really allow my team to gain that upper hand and potentially just Dragon Dance up. And Scrafty, having the incredible typing of Dark and Fighting, it really filled the void that I needed in terms of a Fighting and Dark type. I already have so much resistance to Fairy types. It didn't really occur to me that maybe I don't need this, but the team that I have Empoleon to take that, I have Florges to take it, I have Mew to take it, Beedrill. My team does relatively well against Fairy types, so I feel like picking up the ×4 weakness to Fairy, it wasn't much of a annoyance, it was just, it sort of allows people to bring in the Fairy types, and I can get a proper matchup for that. Then my final two picks over here are the Moltres and Leafeon. I'll talk a bit about Moltres because Moltres was the mon that I was switching around. I was switching around these two Pokemon a lot because I was like, alright, do I need this or do I need that? And I ended up picking up the Moltres because it adds more defogging to my team. It has access to Stab Hurricane, there we go, Stab Hurricane and Stab Fire Blast with a base attack of 125. That means things are going to get a bit heated and a bit windy, and Moltres is an incredible mon to have because it has Flame Body, Pressure, Will-O-Wisp, Roost, Roar. It has ways of dealing with mons that normally you wouldn't really think that this mon could do. It can do a lot. Just looking at the moves that it has, it's in terms of viability, it doesn't really make much sense to bring Moltres in, Smogon and ladder up with a defensive Moltres, but in a draft league format where you can see what each team has, you can bring it as that and it can put in a lot of work. And that sort of leads off to my final pick, which was the Leafeon, which is the 131st pick in the T.C.L. and our last pick. This mon has some incredible stats for being a NU mon. This is my only NU mon, I do believe, and that's because I needed a grass type. I don't want something like Go-Go where it was slow, or I guess there wasn't a lot of great grass types out there. So I ended up picking up Leafeon because it has an incredible base speed of 95, defense of 130, attack of 110. It adds to the EV core, the evolution core of Jolteon and Leafeon. It has Baton Pass, Wish, Heal Bell. It adds more clerics to the team, and it has access to Swords Dance, Leaf Blade, X Scissors, and knockoff, which is not bad. So this thing can put in a lot of work. You can put it under sun in terms of it'll double its speed and outspeed a lot of the game, potentially set up a sword stance, and it pairs up well with Moltres too. So bringing a grass type into the team was something that I wanted. At a 131st draft pick, I felt like it was a small price to pay for. But that pretty much sums up the draft for the Toronto Staraptors. I'm really excited to use this team. This is perhaps one of my favorite teams that I drafted just from paper, just because it's so versatile. It's quick. It's volt turning action is going to be happening. I have Mega Beedrill, which is always going to be a good time. And I'm really excited about the T.C.L season, and hopefully we do really awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this draft analysis. If you have any questions for myself, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below. Be sure to sub and like and follow the Toronto Staraptors. And let's try to get the We the Burps going around Twitter or in the comment section. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. This is Cap, signing off.